Nowadays, there's something to which we call gray areas, and they are everywhere nowadays. Everything in life has a gray area, and there's something to which we call subject to this, or unless this happens, and there's all kinds of gray areas that are happening nowadays. But the truth is, there is no such thing as a gray area. Like we say in the rooms, it's either you're pregnant or not pregnant. You cannot be half pregnant. What am I saying? It's either you're in this side of town or you're in that side of town. You cannot be in both places at the same time. It's either you're in Jerusalem or you're in Miami. And the two cannot ever be together. There's wicked people and there's righteous people. And that's the truth. It's either someone is evil or he is good. Now, when placed with those two choices, I remember when I was young, they would say every person has an angel and a demon, an angel one side and a demon one side. And these two talk to him constantly and tell him what to do and which way to go and things like that. And an addict works the same way. It's either he's in recovery or he's in active addiction. An addict cannot be in recovery and in active addiction at the same time. He needs to make a choice where he stands exactly and who he's going to listen to. And what's important is we say, stay away from people, places, and things. And that's important for an addict. One of the things that an addict needs to do is to cut out the old friends, to cut out the old places, to cut out the old paraphernalia that he was using. If he ought to find recovery, that's what he needs to do. People, places, and things. He needs to stay away from all his bad friends. Stay away from all the bad places. Stay away from all the bad things. There's two paths in life. It is the way of life and it is the way of death. And an addict needs to make a choice which way he's going to go. In Proverbs chapter 4, verse 14, it says, "Don't follow the path of the wicked or walk in the way of evil doers. Avoid it, don't go on it. Turn away from it and pass on." And see, especially in the townships, you'll find guys sitting in the corner and they're all joint and they're smoking marijuana and there's a beer on a quart of black label there and they just sit there the whole day. Now, if you're living in the townships, what you need to do, if you find yourself in a place like that, don't even associate with them. Don't even greet them. Don't even make them your friends. Just walk on. Because those types of people, they are wicked, lazy people who will bring you down and bring you down to their level and they'll bring you down to their way of living. So we ought to avoid even people like that. We need to avoid friends like that, even in high school. When I was in high school, there used to be a place that we call Smokers Field, and that's where all the weed heads would go and all the smokers would go and would form a group there and would all just be bad for each other and just be bad people. Now, I'd advise you, if you're a teenager, to stay away from places like that at school. Stay away from those toilets where they're smoking. Stay away from those people that smoke and smoke marijuana. Stay away from those street corners. Stay away from the drug addicts. Stay away from the gangs. Avoid it. Just pass on. Don't walk on that path and don't follow that path of living. You see, television has a way of glamorizing wickedness, glamorizing that sinful life, glamorizing that gangsterism, glamorizing drug addiction and drug using and that drug lifestyle and that alcohol lifestyle. It has a way of making it attractive and appealing and make it look like it's so nice and fun and enjoyable and it's, no consequences. It's just okay to do that. Stay away from people like that. Stay away from things like that. Avoid it and don't go on it. For they can't sleep if they haven't done evil. People like that. And they are robbed of sleep unless they make someone fall. They want to steal. And we see that as an addict, we know for a fact we couldn't sleep without having a hit, without having a smoke, without having a sniff, without watching pornography, without having alcohol. We just could not sleep. We had to concoct, if we hadn't had money, where to steal, who to manipulate, where to go, who to rob, who to do all kinds of evil things to, just so that we can get our high or our drunk, whatever, so that we could go to sleep. We could not sleep without doing evil. And he's talking about people like this, that they are robbed of sleep unless they make someone fall. And that's what we as addicts do. We cannot sleep until we make someone else fall, so that we can get our high and get our satisfaction at the price of another. We were wicked people. For they eat the bread of wickedness and drink the wine of violence. Now that just explains everything there. The bread of wickedness. In today's context, what is the bread of wickedness? It is drugs. It is drugs that is killing people. That's the bread of wickedness. Because once a person takes drugs, their wickedness will start from there. So, these types of people eat the bread of wickedness and drink the wine of violence. How many people get into fights once they're drunk? We know that alcohol makes people violent. Alcohol makes people want to fight. Alcohol makes someone wants to release that anger and just hit someone with the bottle or stab him or get into a physical fight for whatever purpose, reason. Even innocent people. I remember when I was a teenager, sometimes there'll be people, some of them were my friends, that they would just get into a car and just, drive around and just see and find someone that they can hit and they can attack. And sometimes there'd be 20 guys hitting one guy to a pulp. Or they would just go to a party with the intentions of going there to go start a fight. In these bunking parties as well, after people got drunk, what happened in these bunking parties? Fights break out. So, and that's the price of alcohol. And that's the price of wine. Violence comes as a result of that. But the path of the righteous is like the light of dawn, shining ever brighter until a full day light. Now, recovery only gets better and better and better as years go by, as you progress in your recovery, as you grow in your recovery, as you grow spiritually, you just become better and better and better. And everything just shines brighter until the full day of light. And that's what recovery gives you. That freedom from addiction, that gift of recovery is that your life just shines brighter and brighter like daylight every day. The way of the wicked is like darkness. They don't even know what makes them stumble. And that's what we see in addicts a lot. They find themselves in problems that they don't even know how themselves got into it. Can you relate to that? I can relate to that. How I found myself in trouble so many times, not really knowing what really caused everything. Somehow, somewhere, I know that I caused it, but how it started and how I ended up where I am, I don't know. And that's what wickedness, that's what drug addiction, that's what alcoholism, that's what pornography and gambling and overeating does to a person. It makes you walk in darkness until you stumble and you won't even know what will make you fall, or what has made you fall, or what really caused your problem. My son, pay attention to what I am saying. Incline your ear to my words. Don't let them out of your sight. Keep them in the deep of your heart. And for they are life to those who find them, and health to their whole body. That's one thing that as an addict you should ought to want to find. Health to your body and life as well. So if you find recovery and you find God and you find His truth, that's what you'll have, life and health. But active addiction and drug addiction and alcoholism and that bad lifestyle that's filled with lust and pleasure, that leads to death. Above everything else, guard your heart. And one of the ways that we need to guard our hearts is by the music we listen to and the movies we watch and the series we watch on TV. That's one of the ways that deceit and evilness and bad desires come into our heart, because we expose our eyes and our mind to that filth, to that garbage, to that sin, and that makes it in our subconscious subliminal messages, makes it attractive. And all of that stuff, when we continue to watch it, slips into our heart, and those seeds begin to grow. And once those seeds grow, it will bring about the fruits that are destructive. And pornography is a good example of that. The more someone watches pornography and fills his mind with that sexual immorality, the more that grows and it grows and it grows into actions that bring about ruin. And we see that also with rap music. And the more we expose ourselves to this, now we also want to make a tattoo. We also want the strange haircut and the piercings and all that stuff that goes with what we're seeing on TV. And then it's the drugs that follow. And what else follows is death or institutions or jail. So we need to guard our heart. We need to be very careful what we allow into our mind. We need to be very careful what we expose our eyes to. Because those things, if we're not careful, they'll enter into our heart and they will grow into destructive habits. For it is the source of life's consequences. Just like what I said. If someone doesn't guard their heart, life's consequences stems from there. So we need to guard our heart, because that's where the source of life's consequences, life's actions, life's habits, life's decisions comes from. Keep crooked speech out of your mouth. Banish deceit from your lips. Now, crooked speech and deceitful lips, that's what everybody is doing nowadays. Everybody is bribing everybody else. Everybody is manipulating everybody else. Everybody is smooth talking everybody else. Everybody is saying all types of crooked things and bad jokes and jesting, and all types of sexually filthy jokes are coming out of people's mouths. And the F word is so bad that it's difficult to find someone that doesn't use the F word and the S word and the B word. These words have become normal nowadays. Crooked speech, filthy speech, dirty talking, and swearing and vulgar language is becoming a norm. And we should not let types of talks like that become norm for us. Even if society does it, we should not engage in such immoral and filthy joking, swearing, vulgar language, and crooked speech. So let your eyes look straight ahead. Fix your gaze on what lies in front of you. Level the path of your feet. Let all your ways be properly prepared. Then never deviate, neither left nor right, and keep your foot far from evil. So, you walk into recovery, you sit down, you listen, you take suggestions, you work a program, you find your sponsor, you do your step work, you pray to God every day, and once you've done that, you've taken a decision to stay sober. Never look back, don't look to the left, don't look to the right. Avoid evil, avoid drugs, avoid alcohol, avoid gambling, avoid sex, all these things that bring about an end and wickedness in your life. Keep away from them and just stay on the narrow path, and stop swearing, and stop with the vulgar language, and stop with the gossiping, and stop with the manipulating. But first and foremost, stop with the swearing, stop with the F word, stop with that S word, stop with that B word, stop with all that filthy talking, stop with the sex jokes as well.